When you successfully download and install Adobe Animate program, you will see this screen. To create a new project, go to File menu and press New. And there are many different options. We will use Adobe Animate to character animation. And these are our resolutions. I'll use 180p and 24 FPS is enough for me. Then you can create your project. The toolbar is at the left side of our screen. In the toolbar you will see brush tool. You can draw whatever you want. To select this sphere, I'll use selection tool and I can move it by selection tool. I selected it and I moved it. If you want to rotate and transform it, you will use pre-transform tool. As you see, I can resize it and I can rotate it. If you want to select particular area of this sphere, you will use lasso tool. If you want to delete the sphere, you can use razor tool. And if you want to create a text into your scene, use text tool. If you want to pick a color from your scene, use eyedropper tool. And if you want to zoom, you can use zoom tool. If you want to create a rectangle tool. If you want to create a oval, use oval tool. When you look at the left side of your screen, you will see a layer menu. Let's assume that you have created very beautiful stickman and you want to add a background on this scene. First thing, you'll create a new layer pressing this icon, and you can rename it double clicking on it. Let's rename our stickman 2. Okay, as you see, our background is empty. I click background, I go to desktop, I drag my background image to scene and drop it. As you see, stickman disappears because our background layer is on the stickman layer, and I drop here. As you see, our stickman appears again. I added my background, but there's a problem. The problem is background image is bigger than our scene. As you see, our scene is here. To fix that, just click on background layer or this. I'm selecting background and go to properties menu, go to object and be sure that it's unlocked, this button, and re-enter values. I entered our screen resolution here. Now our background fits our scene. Let's assume that you have deleted your background and you want to bring it back. To do that, go to library and you will see your background and drag into your scene again. To resize it, go to properties and enter your values again. At the bottom of our screen, there is a timeline. When I press play button, nothing happens because our timeline is empty. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, so on. They are all empty. Right click on it and insert frame, or just press F5. Now our stickman will stay on the screen for 3 seconds. Now let's do the same for our background. As you see, we have 3 seconds animation. A keyframe is a frame in the timeline where a change occurs in an object or animation. It marks the start or end of an action, such as movement, shape transformation, or changes in properties like opacity and color. Let's say the keyframe. Right click, insert keyframe. Move my character. Right click, insert keyframe. Right click, insert keyframe. Let's play it. You can animate by drawing and adding keyframes one by one. To be able to see previous frame, to draw better, we use onion skin. Here. Okay. We see next frame. Let's add a keyframe here. Okay. When I move my cursor, you will see next and previous frames. To be able to animate simple shapes like circle, square, we use Shape Tween. First, I delete these layers. Then I rename this default layer as ball. I add another layer and rename it as background. I move the background layer under the ball layer. Okay, I select ball layer. To create a ball, I choose oval tool. Now we have a ball at the first frame. To create a motion, you can draw frame by frame like this. Insert keyframe, move it, or draw something. Insert keyframe, move, etc. Now we have a motion. This is painful progress, I think. Or you can click anywhere on the timeline you want. Right click, insert keyframe, move your shape. Right click on the timeline. Again, this progress. Right click and create shape tween. Now we have a motion. You can also remove this shape tween. Right click, remove shape tween. Let's make another example to understand shape tween better. I delete these layers and rename default layer as rectangle. Now I selected rectangle tool to create a rectangle. I insert a keyframe at first second. Okay, I'll move my rectangle here and I'll rotate it using our free transform tool and right click, create shape tween. Let's watch it. Let's see shapens. We have already added shape tween. Now go to modify, shape, add shapend. A is here, modify, shape, add shapend. B is here. the next keyframe, I'll move my B here, A is here. Okay, let's play it. Now we have a different animation. The break apart feature is used to break grouped images or text. Alright, I remove this shape tween and this frame. Now we have a stable rectangle. It doesn't move. I'll insert a keyframe here and I will create a text. Alright, when we look at the properties of this text, it's a static text, but our rectangle is a shape. We need to convert this static text to shape. Right click, break apart, right click, break apart again. Now as you see, my E letter is a shape again. Alright, we don't have an animation here. Right click, create a shape tween and let's watch it. So far we have seen shape tween with shapes. To be able to create nested animations, we need to use classic tween. We can do it with shape tween. Alright, let's create a ball. As you see, this is a shape. We need to convert it to movie clip. Right click, convert to symbol, and I select movie clip. Okay, then I'll select a keyframe here and move this ball here. Shift, I selected the whole timeline, pressing shift and right click, classic tween. So far you can see difference between classic and shape tween. When I go to library, I see this ball is here. Alright, when I double click onto my ball, I see there is a new timeline. Alright, let's make some drawings in it. Right click, insert keyframe, and I'll add some little balls here and insert keyframe, right click, insert keyframe, right click, insert keyframe. This movie will loop on the project. Alright, let's click empty place to go back. Alright, let's watch it. Now you have learned classical tween. If we want to move objects in a path, we can use classical motion guide. Let me show it. First, I'll choose polygon start tool to create a triangle. Then the numbers of sides will be 3 for my triangle. And I draw my triangle here. Now, I'll convert it to movie clip because we will use classic tween. Okay, now our triangle is a movie clip. Right click on the triangle layer and add a classical motion guide. Alright, now we have a guide. I'll increase the duration of our triangle pressing F5. The 3 seconds is enough, and I'll add a keyframe here. I'll use it later. Alright, now I'll increase the duration of my guide too. Now, guide is here. I'll draw a path using a line tool. You can use whatever you want. I'll bend the selection tool. Right. Now I'll select my triangle and put it here for my first keyframe. Then I'll select my final last frame to set our last place. Right click on the triangle layer, create classic tween. Let's watch it. The motion tween works only with movie clips. Let me create a rectangle movie clip here. I selected my rectangle tool, created the cube, right click, convert symbol, and move a clip. The difference between motion tween and other tweens is that you don't need to insert keyframe for every changes. One keyframe is enough. I'll choose 30 seconds, right click, insert keyframe, and right click, create motion tween. Okay, now we have a motion tween, but our rectangle doesn't move, as you see. Now I'll drag my cursor to half second and I'll choose my rectangle and move. As you see, the path appears. I move my cursor and move my rectangle. I'll continue. Alright, let's watch it. You can also bend the path with our selection tools. Let's watch it again. To understand mask feature, I import a background image here. I'll increase the duration of this background image pressing F5. 4 seconds enough for us. Now I'll create a new layer and let's call it circle. And lock the background. I'll draw 2 spheres here and I'll move them, inserting keyframes. Now I use shape tween to move them. Okay, our spheres are moving now. Let's mark it as mask. Right click and mask. Let's watch it. Now we have binoculars here. Filters works only with static text and movie clips. Let's see it. When I click a static text, I see filters option, but there is no filter options in our shape. Let's convert it to movie clip. Alright, now we have filters. Let's look at them. Okay, trap shadow, glow, bevel, and blur. If you want to add speed effect, you can use blur effect filter. We use ease feature to set acceleration and deceleration value of an object in Tweens. Let me draw a car to show it. First, I'll choose the rectangle tool to create car's body. Let's assume that it's a car's body. Now I'll convert it to movie clip. I'll create a new layer. I will draw a well. Okay. And I'll draw a line. Okay. Now let's draw a front well. Okay. Let's create them. Let's convert them to more clip, because I'll use classical tween. Alright, I'll add keyframes at 4 seconds. At the 4 seconds later, our vehicle will be there. Now I'll add classic tween for all of them. Let's watch it. I forgot to rotate the wheels. Let me do it. Alright, I'll select all tweens and let's go one by one. Okay, when I click on the tween, I'll see ease here. I'll choose easing to start slow and finish faster. Easing quint. Let's watch it. I have chosen for the body. Okay, let's apply them for the wheels. Classic is easing quint. Easing quint. you can set the value of acceleration and the acceleration speed custom. Let me show it. Alright, it will start fast and it will break. Okay, let's apply them for the wheels. Let's watch it. You can think that there is a crash and you want to set ease yourself. In this case, you will use custom ease. In the Adobe Animate, the camera has two features, zoom in and out and rotating. Let me show it. First, I'll draw a stickman. Alright, let's draw a floor. I increased the duration of floor pressing F5. Now I do the same for our stickman and its body. Now I would convert them to movie clip. Now I'll add two keyframes here. Let's rotate our stickman foot. Create classic tween and create classic tween. Let's rotate the foot here clockwise. 8 times is enough. Now we will add a camera. At this point, I will add a keyframe to zoom my character. Then we'll zoom out here. Then I'll rotate the camera here and rotate another side, and I will finish it. Zooming out. Alright, let's create classic tween for all of them. Let's watch it. I have created a bouncing ball using motion tween and a floor to show you scenes. Now, let's go to window menu and scene. We have only one scene. Now, I'll add another scene. Okay, let's rename it as new scene. As you see, this scene is empty. Now, I'll go back to scene 1 and I'll copy the layer and paste it here. And I'll draw another floor for my second scene. I increase the duration of my floor's duration. Now let's watch it. Let's watch scene 1. In Adobe Animate, you can add sounds to your project, but be sure that your sound file is as WAV format. Adobe Animate supports WAV files. Now, to import it, go to the Library menu and drag and drop here. Now we have sounds here. I'll create a keyframe when the ball and floor meets. I'll add a sound here. I add a keyframe, go to properties and select bounce sound. Now let's do another one. The ball hits the ground here. I'll insert keyframe, select bounce sound and it's here. Insert keyframe, bounce sound and here. Insert keyframe and bounce sound. Let's watch it. If you want to make walking animation, you can use Bone tool. You can find Bone tool here. Now I'll test them on shapes and symbols. For shapes, as you see, this is a shape, these are graphics. For shapes, we can add multiple joints on the shapes, but I can't add in a one graphic or movie clip. There should be at least 2 graphics. Okay. Now Adobe Animate created 2 different layers here. You don't need to create tweens for these armatures. Let's do it. I dragged my timeline here and I'll make a movement, and for this Let's watch it. You can make walking animations using one tool like this. If you are bad at drawing like me, you can use image generators for your projects. I use Google's Gemini and Microsoft Copilot. Now, Gemini will draw a car for us. Draw a red car clip art style from front. Okay. And draw a straight road among trees. Okay, this car is good. I'll download it. And I download the road. Alright. AI image generated images comes with their background. I remove them using remove.bg. I remove the car's background first. Right, I'll download it. Now go to Adobe Animate, go to library. I'll drag and drop to my library. Where is it? Rename it as car. And this is, I think, our background. Now I'll create two layers, car and background. I'll match the size of my background to my screen. I can lock it. Now I'll add my car. Now at the first frame, the car will be small and far. But I should convert it to symbol and move clip. Alright. At the 3rd seconds, I insert a keyframe here and I increase the duration of my background pressing F5. At the 3rd seconds, my car will be here and bigger. And right click, create classic tween and low switched. You can export your animation by going File, Export, Export Video Media. You can export entire movie, only one scene or certain time of your animation. When you click Export, your movie will be exported this directory. I hope you like video. See you later.